The news update for Monday. Well, I guess we could say, Monday night news edition. This may not get out till Tuesday morning on April 15th, 2018. The day before taxes are due. You have till 2016 at midnight, according to the IRS's website, to get your taxes in. Uh, if you haven't done so already, filed for your taxes already. Uh, but I wanted to say, a lot of things are happening over here, a lot of different things. I'm not going to go into all those things, but I do want to know that we are moving to North Carolina, and I think it's going to be a good thing. And I think it's going to be an opportunity, It's going to be a lot of good things happening. And I think it's going to open up the doors for ministry in North Carolina. But I wanted to say that we had a good time over there at Brundis Baptist Church yesterday. We talked about Peter in our class. We talked about what ways are we like Peter. And we talked about the story of Jesus and how Jesus came to Peter 3 different times and asked him who he said, and how Jesus every time asked him was denied by Peter. Because Peter was scared of his own health. He was scared of his own life. And I think that's why he denied him. But I also think it's something more than that. I think he just had fear. Because he didn't want nothing to happen to himself. So he just said, I don't know the man. Just like Jesus prophesied, even though he's very devoted to the man. But he still denied him 3 times. And the question is, would you deny Jesus if Jesus were to ask you who they say he is, or do you know him? If they ask a ruler, asked you, do you know him? How would you respond to that query? Probably much in the same way, probably like Peter did. And Peter was considered one of the inner circles of the 3. Is Peter, James, and John. Those are the 3 that Jesus trusted the most, with some of the most personal or who he regarded to be closest to, who he could trust the most. And all the 14 disciples, those are the 3: Peter, James, and John. And he was part of that circle. But then we talked about in a church service, we talked about a guy named Terra, which we don't hear much about, but he was in the line of Abraham, in the genealogy of Abraham, and how he was a man of God. And we don't hear much about him. Just like Melchizedek, we don't hear much about him either. But we know he was a man of God too. But but that's what we talked about at Brundis Baptist Church, and how we too, even though we're not always heard about, I think the message, what the preacher was saying there, is that we're all still important, and we all have a story to tell, and they all have a line in the kinship of God. When we're God's children, we sign on to that kinship for life, because it's like a whole generation of us, all the generations that came thus before us, is what substantiates that heirship of Christ in each of us as people. And as we go out and we do our various places of ministry, wherever they are, whether it's here in America or across the world somewhere, as a missionary, even in a foreign land, as well as a missionary here in America, because we're really missionaries for Christ anyway. So that means missionaries for Christ. And, it is a mission field everywhere you go, wherever God sends you, or wherever you are led to go by the Holy Spirit, of course. And I just want to say that, whatever God does in that situation in your life, that you need to really focus on that and let God do his leading in you and mentoring and ministering to you. And I also want to say, there's a guy that wrote a comment to me about being divorced. He said he loves the comment that I made about marriage, but he disagrees about not being married, because his heart has never been quite the same since this woman left him and got engaged with another man 3 months after the divorce was final, which is really strange. But I want to tell you something, God's got another woman out there for you. You have two lovely children though. This other woman probably who you were with for 10 years probably wasn't satisfied in the bedroom. Maybe there was no communication there. Maybe y'all didn't communicate right. Or maybe it's because you didn't make enough money and she was more into the marriage for the money. Or maybe she just wanted some more pizzazz in her sex life. Instead of talking to you about it like she should have talked to you about it, she went off and cut off the relationship. Then again, it could have been a mental problem that she was having in her life. And that's why she acted the way she did. And chances are this woman who you were married to for 10 years probably was seeing this guy probably a year, maybe about a year before you all got divorced, because she was having an affair on you and seeing him on the side. And a lot of times, if she got re-engaged to a guy 3 months after your divorce was final, chances are he was probably having an affair with this woman while you were still married to her. And of course, she might lie to you and deny that, because women often will lie about that, just like a man will lie or deny it. But that's probably what she was doing. And instead of going to counseling and working out your differences, she decided to go off and just leave the relationship. I mean, is she codependent? I mean, does she come from a controlling family? Is she always involved with your all's affairs? Was she always involved? Was she always telling her that she could always be with somebody that was better than you, and that maybe her mother or her father did not like or approve of you? Maybe that had something to do with it, because sometimes it does. And maybe that's why she rushed off with this other man, who she's with now, engaged to right now, to be married here, probably soon. So, there's reasons why these things happen. And, some women are in it for the money. And I'm not saying that's the case here, in your case. But some women are in it for sex. Some women are in it for, maybe for the business aspect of it. Maybe that's why two people get married too. Not so much for the sex or for a person, but just for the business side of it, because you all might do better in the marital situation because of the assets and all that you bring together as being a couple. That's why she was attracted to you, why she married you. Not saying that's the case with you, but in other people, that could be why some people do this. But I'm not saying it's the case with this guy, but I know God's got somebody special for you, brother. And I know you're hurting. But she probably was having an affair with another man while you were still married to her towards the end there. I mean, more than likely she was, if she got, re-engaged that quickly, that hastefulness, that quickness, that quick, then it tells you that there probably was some kind of affair going on. I know you might not want to believe that, but it's probably more likely what was going on. That's why she was so quickly to leave you to go to him 3 months after the divorce was over. But it's a shame that happens sometimes, because marriage should not be about money, and marriage should not be about how well you perform in bed, or marriage should not be about any of that stuff. It should be about love, because if you love each other, you talk to each other and communicate that stuff to one another. And that way that stuff can be corrected. Now, I'm not saying these things happen, but it's a good possibility it could have happened. But, like I know God has somebody for you. And everybody's got somebody out there that really will love you, and you can really love them, and they won't leave you for another woman or another man. And they'll stay with you. And they won't care about what kind of money you have to provide. They will love you because they enjoy you as a person. And that's really what love really is. It's not about what you have in your wallet. I mean, I have money in my wallet. I have my bills paid. I have a roof over my head. Getting ready to move here in another month or two to North Carolina. And already got approved for the apartment down there. So they ran a background check and they approved me for my apartment down there. So I think that's wonderful. But I want to tell you that it is, when you get married, it is a special time. And it is an important time. And shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't be about sex. It shouldn't be about, sex is only about 25% of your marriage. The rest of it is just staying together and loving each other and being friends to each other and sticking it out through thick and thin. That's the ultimate test of two people that are in love with each other. If true love was just based on money and based on what you had, then nobody would ever have a good person, because everybody would be looking at all the materials, and they would get lost in what real love is between a man and a woman, between that special person that's out there for you, that you have in your life, that's your wife, who will be your future wife. It's not about what you have. People got to understand that you got to have money, but it's not all about that. It shouldn't be about that. It should never be about that when it comes to a relationship. And I'm sorry you're hurt and you're not right, but I would go out when you get up the nerve, and I would see if you could go out and maybe go to a Christian singles group, because a lot of churches have Christian singles groups. I don't know if you're Christian, but I think you are. And if you're not, then you can always go out to the mall or go out to Walmart, and you can find some really nice, beautiful women there. Nice ones. But if you're a Christian, there are a lot of churches that have single groups, and I feel that you are. So you probably should just do that when you get the nerve, and introduce your kids to that other wife. When you're ready, not wife, well, to the other person who may be a candidate to be your wife. Not their wife yet, but they may be in the future. But let your kids get to know them, because the way your kids act around them, if they like them, that also helps. Because if they don't like them, then they're letting you know something, and I would listen to them. But if they really feel good about that person, being around them and all, that says a whole lot there too. But in other news, I want to get to, considering about that, changing subjects, but the salmonella, there's been a salmonella outbreak due to eggs, and over 2 million eggs have been recalled. Make sure you check to see on the CDC's website to find out what eggs have been recalled due to the salmonella outbreak that's in this country. Also, there's mysterious E. coli cases with meat going on in the United States too. Be careful what you get at the store. Make sure you look at the package. If it smells funny, looks funny, don't buy it. Okay? Because chances are it may have some E. coli in there. 2 people have been sick and been sent to the hospital out of 7 people so far. Nobody's died from this. But 2 of the 7 had to go to the hospital. Salmonella outbreak on the eggs in this country. I always say, since they have all these farms that they have out here that have cropped up, all these different farms, for chickens and all, they have poor lighting and poor ventilation, and they have 4 chickens to a cage, I heard, in some of these farms, which should be really abuse, because they really shouldn't be in cages. They should let them run around, fly around loose, so they can lay better eggs instead of being in the cage and in a dark area all the time. And this could be the reason why we have this salmonella outbreak, because of the poor conditions at some of these farms. I'm not saying all these farms are this way, because I know there's some farms that do it traditionally, the natural way. But what I'm saying is this, that, just check your eggs and make sure your eggs have not been recalled because of the salmonella outbreak in this country. I'll be sure of that. Oh, in other news, they're talking about cloning humans, meaning not just growing organs in animals like pigs, using organs of pigs for hearts and things, but no, they're talking about growing humans inside of cows. Yeah, Japan, they are already starting to clone or grow human babies inside of cows. Sounds like something from Einstein, where everything went really amok and wrong. It's because where man's trying to be God when really they're not God. And they are trying to actually really grow babies in cows. And that's just hard to believe that you would be growing a human baby inside of a cow. But I guess it can be done because they're doing it. Uh, in places like Japan and Russia, they're doing some cloning. They're cloning, trying to combine monkey DNA with human DNA and other animal DNA with human DNA. I don't think it's a good idea, but they are doing this, trying to combine animal DNA with DNA. But I hate to tell a secret. Did you know that the DNA from animals are already inside of us? Did you know that? They are. It's already there. So why would you want to combine the DNA of animals when we already have that in us? I mean, try to change the DNA of an embryo when it's already part of our DNA, because we have animal in us too. We're human. I mean, the only difference between us and a monkey is like 2% DNA. If you change a little bit from 2%, we would be a monkey. We wouldn't be human anymore. But if you leave it the way it is, then we'll be a human. But it's only a 2% difference. I think it's a 4% difference between between a gorilla and human. So, and with birds, I think it's about 8% difference, depending on the species of bird. It can be 6 to 8%. 6 to 8% difference. So, but see, it's not much, but you can get a lot of different variations of what something can be based on the DNA, how it's changed. But that's not evolution, that's creation. I don't like evolution, but I am a fan for creation. And, that's how God did things. But I wanted to say that, hey, everyone have a good evening. And be careful out there. There's been a lot of earthquakes going around all over the world. I think we have for the month of April so far, we have over 2,000 earthquakes that have happened worldwide. So the world is definitely shaking and a quaking. And, and so, just all hang in there and have a good night. And I will have more up-to-date news and more news stories to come. Keep it right here on DeSilva's Media and the News Update. Take care, everyone. Peace. I love you.